Welcome to part 3 of the rawresume.com video series on how to write a great resume. So now we're headed into the work experience section. So let's start off by just looking at what you need to have. So each subheading, each subsection is going to be, each job. So you're going to have your job title. This is pretty much the most important thing, because if someone's scanning your resume, they're going to see the first thing that comes up, right? Plus, you'll probably have it bolded or standing out in some way. So your job title, they want to see, have you had job titles related to whatever you're applying to? Okay. The company you worked at, often people put this above the job title and they'll bold it. In some cases it's important where you worked, but almost always it's better to put the job title on top, the company at the bottom, and then the date. Just be consistent with the date. You can go short form, you can go long form, include the months and the years if you need to. If it was a short position, under a couple years, and you can just typically tuck that on the right side, and right below that you can put the city, state. So you'll have those two on the right side. They're not super important. They don't need to be bolded. Just right align them. Typically the best way to do this is with a table with no border. It's really easy in Word and Google Docs or whatever you use. So that's the basic stuff, the formatting. And then you're going to have 4 to 6 bullet points. Maybe not even 4. Maybe 1 to 6, depending on how long you worked there and how much responsibility you had. Don't include bullet points just for the sake of it. Just include the ones that actually communicate your value. It's just like the skill summary. Okay, so you want to construct these points just like we looked at in the last video. You want to have adjectives, you want to have some sort of a skill or responsibility that you had, and then you want to have a metric if possible, or some other way that communicates the benefit that your company got from your work. So here's an example of a really great bullet point. So you say you've obtained Green Belt Lean Six Sigma certification and then trained 18 staff members to implement processes in 3 top priority projects. You may be able to name specific projects, or if you have to say this, that's fine. And then this resulted in process costs declining by 42%. Okay, so you have a ton of descriptive text in there, and most importantly, you have some sort of a benefit. This is something an employer will associate. When they read your resume, they'll say, oh, maybe he can do that for me as well. So that's really important. Okay, if you want to go to the guide, you can see more examples of good ones. Just take a quick look at this, pause the video if you want to. If you read this on someone's resume, you're going to be like, wow, that's very solid. And imagine you have 2-3 jobs like that, you're going to get a ton of interviews. But the problem is most people either have super short bag things like this. This is a bad work experience, not very descriptive, doesn't really paint a picture, not really any metrics, kind of a metric here, but not a very good one. Other examples of bad work experience, there'll be a ton of buzzwords, a ton of adjectives and stuff, but nothing's really said. You need to communicate your value at the end of the day. That's the most important thing, no matter how you do it. Okay. One more thing we're going to cover in this video is volunteering. Yeah, volunteering is a great way to get started. If you have little work experience altogether, or in a specific industry that you're trying to get into, so you may do a volunteer position or an internship or something like that. Now you want to structure it just like these work experience things above. You don't necessarily have to have a whole separate section. You can include it right under the work experience, but what you want to do is just right beside the position or the company, just put a bracket and type in volunteer position or something to that effect and close the bracket. Just mark it as volunteer so they know. And again, you write it exactly the same. It's a great way to start off a resume if you're struggling with a lack of work experience. So that's it for this video. Next video, we're going to be covering education and a whole bunch of other smaller sections. Knock them all out at once. And then there's a final part in the series dedicated to design. So I'll see you then.